I would like to say that this is the first sessions of the whole series, Google Startup Masterclass Series. The series aim to provide more insights, more knowledge, and more best practice that our experts have to the larger community of the startups, especially those based in Vietnam. The first session today is sustainable growth with revenue. The speaker is Nguyen, the territory manager in Google Cloud.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So thank you very much for joining today's event. So I'm thrilled to be here today to share my insight about two B2B sales landscapes. So let me start by do a quick introduction about myself, right? So currently I'm territory manager at Google Cloud, overseeing business operations across Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines. So this role allow me to gain a deep understanding of the diverse challenges and opportunities businesses facing in the region. Today, I'm eager to share my perspective on the key trends shaping B2B sales landscapes, equipping you with the knowledge and strategies to navigate this dynamics field effectively. So here's the agenda of today's section. So I'm going to help play the two main topics. The first one, which is sales development structure, and the second one will be sales development best practices. To build a robust inbound and outbound sales team, essential to understand the key role within the organizations. So today I will work through the three main roles in sales development structure. So let's go a little bit in this one, right? So normally we have three main roles in the sales development structure. First one is the inbound, second one is outbound, and last one is account executive. Some company they call field sales or a field sales rep, right? So the first one inbound, normally the task of inbound will be like lead management. And then for outbound, it will do prospecting. And for account executive, more about alignment, follow up, and operation regard. So that the three main roles in the structure. So now we move a little bit more details in every single role. Okay. So firstly, let's talk about the sales development representatives. We call the SDR. So SDR normally requires a background of 6 months to 1 years in the business development associate or some company called BDA. So in this BDI role, an initial position. So the focus in this role is data accuracy, especially for like deduplicating leads in the in the system or in your companies, right? So with this BDA role, the duties is here is like very less customer facing. So let's go back to sales rep, meaning SDR. So on a daily on a daily basis, SDRs are responsible for managing inbound lists, which include like emails or calls to the customer. So their most critical task is qualify the opportunity before scheduling the meeting and send the scheduling the meeting to the account executives. So we dive into a qualification. We will dive into the qualification process later on in the next few slides. The ultimate goal of the SDR is transition into the business development representatives, which is the BDR role in the right hand side or on the right hand side, right? So these professions involve the intensive training and usually take around 1 to 2 years with the SDR who have the exceptional performance during this periods of time. They will have the promotion. They will get a promotion to be a BDR. And then moving forward on the right hand side, let's discuss about the BDR role, which is business development rep. So BDR are tasked with generating the new opportunities. But as we mentioned earlier, right, the SDR will be promoted to be the BDR role. So just ensure that they have at least 1 to 2 years of internal experience. What I say like internal experience and external experience, because if like a person who already worked on what in the SDR role before of in the same company, they will need a shorter time to become a BDR. So that's why 1 to 2 years if they work the SDR role internally, and it's around 3 years if they was the SDR role in an external companies. Okay, and then normally the task of BDR role is generating new opportunities. So this requires a focus on white space customers and close collaboration with account executive for like do some tasks like account planning, and then maintains a target of list of the accounts for to do the prospecting. And very similar to SDR role, the ultimate goal for for a BDR is progress to be account executive position in the near future. So that's it, the two main role of SDR and BDR. So in summary, establishing a strong business development structure not only streamline your sales process but also motivate the like your employees to commit a long-term growth within your company, also providing a clear career path for the next 3 to 5 years is essential to retain and nurture your talents inside of your companies. So in our upcoming discussion, I will go deeper into the best practices for to optimize your business development team. Okay, let me move to the next slide. Okay, firstly, I would start with the lead routing overview. So this aspect is very important. Is explain how your company distribute the list among the sales team. So this process must be very like strictly followed by we call rules of engagements or ROE. So I will explain about the ROE later on. So here how so I basically works in the a company. So on the inbound channel, such as you can see on the left hand side, we can see like call chats are directed straight to the sales development rep, which is the SDR to cover the inbound lead, right? And then SDR then take care of the lead, qualify the lead, and then proceed to schedule the meeting with the account executive. That's the yellow color that you can see on the slides. And then from below, that's all the sources that you can see is like webinars, like events, like form completions, may involve a mix. Those kinds of channels may involve a mix between inbound and outbound lists, depending on the situations. So as we discussed earlier, you remember the BDR, we need to collaborate with the account executive to build the market strategies. We could be webinar and events. So that's the reason why I mentioned that it could be like both inbound and outbound list, right? So that's why the ROA come into play of this game, this determining whether the lead should be assigned to an SDR or a BDR. So each company has their own unique ROE, which is one. This I won't go more detail in this one, but the rule of engagement will decide the lead should go into SDR or BDR. So let's say it's BDR is quite similar to SDR. The BDR we need to work, qualify, and then send the lead to the IA. So, throughout my career, I have been passionate about building a strong relationships with my customer. To do that, I need to understand their unique needs, and then having a tailored solution that drive their success. I believe that the effective of B2B sales is not just about closing deals or selling a product or solution, right? It's about a long-term partnership with your customer to create the mutual values, right? In the next slide, I will share some key insight um, on lead and opportunity qualification as well as the strategies for the customer relationship. This is how we qualify and we build the relationship with the customer. Okay, so As you can see in the slide, I can say this is the standard of the qualification process for our business development team. So this standardization will ensure that all the members of the BD team will follow the right approach to the customer and ensure the quality of the opportunities before passes to the account executive. So you may have I may know like some of you maybe you heard about the definition of band BANT, which is stand for budget, authority, needs, and timeline. So the process of I mean the ROI of today's actually become is coming from Pant. So but due to the time constraint, I will provide only a key points inside of Pant because that's a very big topic about how we do the qualification. So in this one, I divide into four stages. So stage one and two is represent the initial or the minimum qualification steps for the SDRs and BDRs. So in the stage number one, there is the objective to identify and qualify business and the technical challenges and also the bench points that the customer are facing or experiencing. So in real life, right, people usually come to the doctor. I just want to take example, right? When you have like a problem with your health, you will come to the doctor. If you don't have any issues, you don't you will never go to the doctor, right? So that's why in the state number one, we want to understand what is or what are the problem, and then with this state, that will give us an idea that how urgencies that we need to work on the lead or the prospects, because you can imagine that every day or every week your company may receive 10, 20, thousands of prospects, right? You need to prioritize which will be the best lead that you want to work on first. So based on the state number one will give you some idea about which one you should be prioritized to work first. And then you moving to the state number two, we can see some keyword like compelling event or top priority. So in this one, the SDRs and the BDR needs to like discuss about compelling events. You can think about again, we bring the health issues again into these topics. So if you have an issue with your health and you left untreated, you're not going to treat your problem, it will lead to a trouble, right? It's just likewise, SDR and BDRs must understand the compelling events or reason that drive the customer to consider switching or changing from a solution to another solution, right? This could be like a risk of lost revenues or potential shutdown their business or their system, or just for instance, right, they had to have like some reason why they are or they want to move to another solution. So that's we can say like comparing event. And also we need to understand about the priorities of the customer. Is it like revenue drive or is it like acquisition new customers? So we need to understand the priorities of the customer, and then we will be able to move to the state number three, where we call deeper qualification. So state number three and four is considered as like a higher level, or we can say a deeper qualification process, where we can discuss about budget timelines. And remember that the budget and the timeline should only be discussed once, like whenever the parties, meaning the customer and yourself, understand the seriousness of the situation. Okay, why I'm saying that, right? Because just imagine like if you don't know that you have an issue with your health, then you don't know how urgent that you need a doctor to treat for your health, right? So that's why we come into the budget and the timelines only when we have the state number one and number two. Okay, then we come to another things we some other like we need to identify the primary competitors, and knowing a champion within a customer or organization. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the champion definition, but a champion is someone. It can be one person, it can be like two or three persons in a company, like your customer company, that can understand about the values of your solution. So that person, after they understand, they are willing to propose the solution to their companies. So you need to have a champion who can understand your solution values before they come back to their company and propose. So champions is very important in the stage number three. Okay, and then we come to state number four, where the involvement of the identification of decision makers. It could be CEO, it could be CTO, it could be CFO. It depends on your solution actually. So let's say you are a SaaS company, you're selling like CRM solution, then maybe the CEO and the CFO will be more interested than the CTO. But if you are a company selling, let's say, infrastructure services, then maybe the CTO will be the right decision maker in this case. Okay. Um, and then we come to the next one will be development of business case. So you remember we mentioned in the state number three about the health and the seriousness, right? So if you know your problem, if you know your issues, you know how much that you will lose if you not going to treat your health or your company problem, right? So the business case will come in to see the ROI of, you need to know the ROI of your solution before you propose to the customer. Let's say if they change or they use your solution, how much money that they are going to save, or what is the key point that will help them to resolve the issues and the problem that they are having. So the state number four will be more about ROI, meaning return of investments. So meaning like let's say they pay like 10,000, how much money they will get back, something like that. So we need to know a business case here. Okay, so just to sum up this one, by following this standardization or the qualification process, our BD team can like not only streamline their efforts, but also ensure that they are focusing um, on like our resources and the most promising opportunities to send to the IE level or the account executive, right? So but also as you can see, right, after we done the fourth stage, we build the trust with the customer, because the customer can see that we are not coming to sell something to them. We coming to understand their problem. We just like a doctor. We come to understand their challenges, their problem, before we give them some medicines, right? So we don't know if our solution can fit with their problem or not. That's why we need to come like step number one, number two, number three, number four, to understand everything before we give them the medicine. So that's it, the methodologies, how we build the relationship with our customers. Okay, I think this will be I will move to the next one, which is we're going to discuss about the OKR, or the targets of for the SDR and the BDR. So let's go into this, right? I will break it out into daily, weekly, and monthly target, just for you to easier to understand what will be. Again, right? This is just like my sample. It's not like the standard or something you can fit with your business requirement and business situation. So let's start with the our daily OKR. So the metrics here provide a real time our team performance, like daily uh, performance, right? So you can see some feature here. For example, you can see like number of calls, or number of meeting a days, or number of connects mean like you call is successfully or not. So that we some metrics that you can consider. And then we can have like a number of talk times, meaning like how many hours, how many minutes the SDR and BDR on the call with the customer. And then the last two, we can see the amount of pipeline created. Let's say 20,000 opportunities or a deal like five deal. Every deal is 1K or 2K or 5K. We want to measure the dollar or the amount of the pipeline created. And then last one for daily, we can have the number of opportunity creators. Let's say we can have like 5 opportunity a day or 20 opportunity a day. So again, it depends on your company's situation, right? Then we move to weekly OKR. So weekly OKR, in addition of the daily metrics that we mentioned earlier, we can track amount of pipeline accepted by account executive. So why we have the accepted here? Because remember, as mentioned earlier, the SDR and BDR, after they have the opportunity, they qualify the opportunity, and then they pass the opportunity to the IE, right? So the IE or the account executive will need to work on it, qualify, meeting with the customer, and qualify again. So they will know that this opportunity is or are qualified, really qualified or not, right? So they can accept or reject the opportunity. So if they accept, meaning that the opportunity is with a very good quality. So that's why in the weekly basis, we will have the pipeline accepted OKR here. And then let's zoom out to monthly OKRs, which offer a broader perspective about the performance of our team. So we look into some metrics like revenue generated. So some opportunities, like you may familiar with the ACV definition, which is the annual contract values. So again, it depends on your business model. Is it a SaaS company? Is this the infrastructure company? You may have different definition of revenue from the opportunity. It could be monthly. It could be MRR, meaning monthly recurring. It could be ACV, annual contract values, right? So, but the idea here is we calculate or we measure how much revenue come from the opportunities. And then last but not least, it would be about acceptance, closure, and win rate, right? You may want to know, uh, let's say 20 opportunities. What is the accept rate after the BD team pass to the IA role? And how much of the, let's say, 20 opportunity, the IA accept 5 opportunities. Then you may want to know again how how many opportunity in out of 5 opportunity close one, and how many close lots, something like that. There's some metrics that you want to take a look into as well. So to wrap up for today's presentation, my last comment here is breaking down our KI into daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly targets allow us to closely monitor our progress, and quickly adapt to the change of the market, and ultimately drive our B2B sales success for the whole companies.
Thank you so much, Yang, for joining the session and share with us your experience and expertise. Thank you, everyone, for joining very actively and sharing a lot of interesting questions. See you all next week for the next sessions of the masterclass series.